Hi, my name is Dennise Williams. Welcome to this episode of Financially Focused. On this program and on our website, we're all about helping you build a financial table with four strong legs: your income, your assets, your planning, your mindset, and protection, in which we call insurance and debt management, is how you protect your family, right? And so in each episode, we bring on the experts and we take you on a journey as to how to strengthen your financial table, because you don't want a wobbly table, right? And so in this episode, we're going to be talking about the career aspect of the income leg that's going to help you to be strong and financially focused. We're so pleased to have with us Dr. Carolyn Hayles, Labor Market Research Specialist. Welcome to Financially Focused. My name is Dennise Williams, and on this program we are all about helping you to build your financial table. Now, if you're between the ages of 25 to 70, building that financial table is your number one job. And one of the important legs that feeds everything else is your income. And for most of us, our income is a function of our career. And so I am so pleased to have with us labor market researcher, Dr. Carolyn Hayles. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, here's the reality of the situation. If you go on the internet, if you go to YouTube University, if you go to Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it, somebody's selling you a program, and we like to call them merchants of success. And they're selling you a program that's going to help you be successful in 6 weeks. And you are going to pay this money and squeeze in 4 years university, 4 years master's degree, 4 years PhD in 6 weeks, and reach your cash goals. You're going to get cash in 6 weeks like that. But not everybody believes that. Dr. Hayles, if I'm stuck in my career and I need help, is it a 6 weeks quick, fast journey? You pay money and it's there?
I don't think so, Dennise. All that glitters is not gold.
Okay. But why do so many professionals feel stuck in their career?
Because they started on the wrong foot.
Oh, wow.
Either the parents told them that they should pursue a particular career, which they didn't really like, but they followed the parents anyway. Or somebody said, you know, if you do so and so, you'll make a lot of money. They didn't listen to themselves, and they did not establish who they really are in terms of what do I like? What can I do with ease and not even think about it, but I could earn from it? So they're responding to the wrong stimuli, and therefore they arrive at the wrong place. So you get into this career, and after about 5-10 years, you're like, why am I doing this?
Right.
How do I get out of this?
Exactly, because, you know, what are the key reasons people hesitate to change? So you spent 10, 15 years somewhere that you're not happy, okay? But you would have invested 4 or more years in studying for what you're not happy for. You feel stuck, but now to make a change is frightening, because what's out there is a lot of low-paying jobs, and people are afraid of that.
Well, you see, they're frightened because they're not prepared.
Okay.
First of all, one of the get-rich schemes that they tell you,
yes,
is that you go to school to make money.
Okay.
You don't go to school to make money. You
Well,
go to school to get an education.
So the education should make me money?
No, not necessarily. It helps you to think in a particular way, which is what you need, the competence to be able to think yourself out of the situations you get in.
Right.
Now, some people may not even go to university.
Okay.
But you also still need to be able to problem solve, critical thinking, get along with people, collaborate, and things of that nature. So it is really understanding what is important. Understanding too that there are only 16 career clusters in the world.
Only 16. Okay.
Doesn't matter what anybody tells you, there's 16.
Okay.
Now, I always
16
use
career clusters. Okay.
And those clusters lead to 79 families.
Woohoo.
And from the 79 families, you get all of the occupations. So we start backwards.
Right.
We see an occupation and say, oh, that's what I'm going to do.
Right, I want to be a veterinarian.
I want to be a veterinarian, not realizing that that sits in an ecosystem, that sits in a cluster. Now, if you understand the bigger picture about the cluster,
right,
you may realize that you have skills and competencies that are attracted to another area of this particular discipline. And you could go off in that area.
Oh, so you're saying if I understand the clusters of the career I choose, and I'm a veterinarian, I can do something else related to veterinary,
absolutely,
and not feel like I'm wasting my time.
Right, because remember, I go back to education. Education is like a ladder.
Okay.
So everything you have learned from early childhood all the way is built on something else.
Okay.
All right. So when you look, for example, I use the one that comes to mind easiest, which is agriculture, natural resources, and food. Those three are clustered.
Okay, so agriculture, natural resources, and food work together.
Yeah, they're clustered together.
Okay.
And so if you have pursued areas in science and you would like to be outside, you like bio, you like to fuss around with plants, botany, and zoology, you raise things of that nature. They are linked.
Yes.
So when you look at the ecosystem that goes with those three, it's vast. It's 79 different ecosystems that have a whole wide possibility.
So that means the in terms of the first steps to understanding the career change is to understand the ecosystem that you're in. So there's 16.
There's 16 clusters
of
careers.
And
there's 79 what they call families.
So each of the 16 clusters have 79 families under each. Is that correct?
They have not necessarily 70. There's 79 families.
Oh, there's 79 in total
that accompany the 16.
Okay.
And under those families, there are hundreds of occupations, and they're emerging now more rapidly because of the environment we're in.
So you can literally say, okay, I am a tire repair. I repair tires for a living.
Yes.
It's hot. It's sweaty work.
Yes.
I go home dirty. I'm tired of repairing tires. But you're saying I fall into the automotive cluster.
And you acquired skills in fixing those tires that can be transferred
into something else,
to another
in
area,
the family
within the same family
of automotive.
Because you must have liked it,
right?
And so you have those competencies.
I could become a teacher of automotive.
You could teach automake, or you can work with a design for different areas where there are pain points.
Yes.
Or you may understand customers, or you may want to be going to sales.
Okay, I can sell tires.
There are many different things that you can do related to that particular thing.
All right, so this is one of the very first steps, understanding your ecosystem. And what key questions should professionals ask themselves before making a decision?
Where am I? Where am I in the great scheme of things?
I'm depressed.
Yeah, you're depressed, but where are you? How many years? What got you to this point?
Okay.
Let us review.
Okay, so I was changing tires for 10 years.
Right, but what got you to tires? Oh. Why weren't you selling cars?
Oh, like my grandfather had a garage.
Okay, grandfather had a garage, and so did you just So you just fall into it because grandfather had a garage
Yes,
and
yeah,
I
I
was
just
just
fell
too
into
lazy
it.
to go and do
Yeah, it was
anything
just
else.
easier to change tires at my grandfather's garage.
So were you interested in the business side of
No, I don't
of
like
it?
people.
You don't like people, then maybe you should go in the design side.
Oh.
Or you could do research on the different mechanisms that they use for tires and are there innovations that you could potter around with and create that could help them to create a unique type of tire.
Okay, all right, but hold on now. Let's go back. I'm a high-paid rocket scientist, okay? I work for NASA, and I'm making nice money.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave, but I'm not happy. Now, there's this idea that I could do job crafting to sort of help me to stay where I am without feeling so depressed and downtrodden and stuck. What is job crafting?
Job crafting, as I understand it, not that I agree with it, is that you try to re-engineer your job to make you more comfortable. No, first thing is, a job, the job description fits with the mission and the vision of the company. So you can't just wander in there and decide you're going to change the people's job description.
But I need to be happy.
Well, you need to work somewhere else or run your own stuff, as I always tell you. You have to understand that the employee and the employer have to be compatible because they're working on the same objectives. So a company has its mission and its vision and its core values, and it's going on a particular path. Those job descriptions, every job in that company supports the mission and the vision, you know. It supports it.
Right.
So what the job crafting then would be, to my mind, creating an environment that makes you comfortable in the job that you have based on the job description, which is the responsibilities and the authorities that you have. So it's how you plan to approach the work without disrupting everybody else in the environment. Because remember, it goes back to the principles that guide that company.
So if I'm unhappy, I can't just get up and job craft.
You ought not to.
Okay.
Because it's going to lead to conflict. Because you made job craft and it disrupts the entire team.
Right.
Because you decide you want to come to work at 9 o'clock in the night when they need you there at 8 in the morning.
Okay. Okay. Now, I've tried many career coaches and I've spent money. I've done courses. It's not working. Are there exercises and frameworks that will help me to have a greater success in reviewing and working with a career coach?
Well, the career coach can only take you so far, you know. If you're not listening and not applying what they've told you, then you are wasting your time and your money. Although the person has given you their best effort.
Right.
You have decided that you want to do it a different way. So I would suggest, again, let's go back. Start at the beginning.
Start at the beginning.
How did I get here?
Right.
Review your entire life to the point that you are at now.
Yes.
You will have highs and lows, but you must learn from the lows as well as be very excited about the highs.
Right.
Because it smooths out and it creates who you are.
Right.
But if you don't know who you are, you will continue to bat around, not knowing and always feeling unhappy.
Okay.
It really does start with self-reflection.
So self-reflection is the first exercise to align your career with your strength and your interests.
And to identify your weaknesses, where your weaknesses are, and to see, where do I really want to go? You said to 70, I would say beyond until you die. Okay. Where do you want to be? And then you have a roadmap.
Right.
If you have a roadmap, you don't feel stuck.
Yes.
Okay, because you can always change the route.
Right.
But you know the destination. I'm going in that general direction over there.
So what we're really saying is that we're building out the career part of the income leg of our financial table, because a strong table has 4 legs.
Yes.
So we're really narrowing on your career. It's not the only way to make income, but we're narrowing in on having the career that you enjoy, the success you want. Now, hidden job opportunities and networking, because we've looked at the cluster, we've looked at the families of career, and I have decided to shift from being outside changing car tires to being in car tire sales. I've made up my mind. Tell me, how do I network to a sales job?
Well, first of all, the company with which you're working, do they sell cars?
Okay.
Okay. If they don't sell it, do they have a subsidiary that sells cars?
Okay, so look within.
Yeah, look within, because they already know you. Okay. And remember, you are your best asset. You're talking about financial table. You're an asset.
Right.
Okay. So you're gonna look in terms of what the company wants to do. Are there opportunities within? Are there subsidiary groups?
Right.
Are there groups of customers that with whom they interact that might be interested in, they have known me for years, they might be interested in my selling cars for them because they like my personality, they know that I know all about it.
Right.
So you can network that way. Because you're using the framework, you're using the grouping that you already know, rather than trying to go outside to convince somebody who doesn't know you that you are a great asset.
Okay. All right. Now, so you're saying that in the time that you're in the company, network within first and seek to shift within because they know you.
Yes.
You're also saying treat yourself like an asset.
Yes.
Yes, because you're your best asset.
You're your best asset.
You're probably your only asset.
Come to think of it.
Yeah. All right. What about someone that's introverted and shy? How does that work?
Well, if you're introverted and shy and not really keen on the networking business, you can do a couple of things. And for the other person, to the extrovert as well, you look at the annual reports for the company, because you're going to see the direction in which the company is going.
Right.
That's a clear indication. If it's a small company and if they don't have annual reports, you can talk to the senior management. You just engage them informally because they know you anyway.
Right.
And ask them, so what we're going to do in the next 5 years and so on, and get an idea of what is happening. Because you're introverted doesn't stop you from using your assets. Show people your value.
Yes.
This is what I know about tires, and this is what I bring to the table. If you are really, really uncomfortable in the whole network scene, as we know it now, the whole social milieu and mix-up, you can get somebody who's extroverted to tag along with them. Let them introduce you to the players. You stand around, you listen, contribute now and again if you feel when you feel comfortable enough. Otherwise, you do that a couple times. You get a feel for the people in the industry. You get a feel for how they think, and then you can make your approach.
Right. Okay. Fear is a major barrier to career change. How can professionals push past self-doubt?
Well, I believe in a portfolio.
Okay,
you
talk
have
to me
fear
about that.
because you don't know who you are, you don't know what you have, and so you don't know how to sell it. You feel that there's something out there that is greater than you are.
Yes.
When in fact, if you do the research, you may find that you are actually sitting in the catbird seat and have information that can help them, whoever the industry is or in the major industry player is, to grow. So fear is something that you have to push back. It's part of life.
Yes.
But it is a thing that makes you grow.
Tell me more about the portfolio. What is that?
The portfolio is it's just really capturing a document that captures electronic, or it can be written. For example, if you're going to higher education and you don't have the prerequisites to get in on your academics, some institutions, after you're 23 years old, or some of them are 21, as low as 21, they have what they call a mature student clause. And in that, they look at all you have done prior to this point and determine your maturity level and your ability to learn.
Right.
So they analyze that and then will accept you into the program. So the portfolio, if you look at yourself, I believe that a portfolio is not just for higher education. It is for you to be able to keep track of where you are and to quickly assess if you need to add new skills based on what you see scanning the environment, or are you well placed to take advantage of an opportunity. But if you don't have that written anywhere, or you're not going to be prepared.
Okay, so the effort to put together all your certification, your achievements, your skill set, all of those things will help you to feel confident
Yes.
and overcome the fear.
Yes, and it's sometimes, you know, it's things that you don't even realize. For example, you could have been volunteering at church, or you could have been looking after what they call non-paid jobs.
Right.
When you're babysitting your younger siblings, there are competencies there that you have acquired along the way. That you can. So it's how you
you're saying that
express
some
those
of what
things.
we do is like we've been volunteering with our church finance committee forever,
Exactly.
but we don't count that
But you
because
don't
it's
count
not
that
paid.
because it's not paid. But it is valuable because it's a competence that you have that can be applied to a paid situation. Yeah, it's very important.
Okay. Financial preparation.
Yeah.
One of the things that's great about buying, the 6 weeks coaching programs on the internet is that for $19.99, $1,999, you can be ready quickly with no effort.
I have a bridge
that-
to nowhere to sell you for the same $19.99.
So the idea of financial preparation when you want to make a career change, how do you see that?
Well, that's important because remember, you still have to exist
Right.
on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
So you can't just get up and walk out the job unless you have lots of money and it really doesn't matter, or somebody is going to give you a whole bag of money. You need to know financially, how much do I really need to live?
Right.
And you've heard me on this topic already. No one job is going to be able to pay you enough for the type of lifestyle that you want.
Okay.
So you have several income streams.
Hold on, because part of my unhappiness with my career is I don't earn enough.
Well, you see, that's my point. No one job, because remember, the job is paying you for a competence,
Yes.
And if you do not have another competence
Yes.
to put you in another income bracket, you're
Yeah.
stuck where
Yes.
you are.
Right.
Okay? So what you need to understand is, how do I move around in this? What kind of lifestyle? That's one of the things I always say. What lifestyle do I really want to live? And having established that, I work backwards
Right.
to know, okay, well, the job covers maybe the rent and maybe the food.
Right.
No, I need to do some other things. Do I model?
Yes.
Do I sing? What do I do that can bring in some other money that can help me to
Right.
do some other things?
Right.
Because no one job is going to be able to give you the money that you feel that you're worth.
Okay. Wow. So when someone says, I can't leave my job until I'm earning $5,000, $10,000 a month, to see that from one place is too much pressure.
But not only that, do you have the competencies for which they're going to pay you that $5,000 or $10,000? You see, you, from where you sit, you're just one of the people that work in that company. Okay? The company, the stakeholders have set certain targets for the executives that they have to make.
Right.
So they have figured out how much they can spend for staffing and all the other expenses.
Right.
So your job is, you're actually paying you to perform specific responsibilities,
Right.
specific tasks. The way they calculate jobs, there's actually a formula.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what you think you want for that particular job. The formula doesn't allow it to go beyond a particular point, because the competencies that are required for that job don't attract that kind of money. So you now have to say, oh, all right, I get it. I'm here. I want $10,000 a month. So maybe I should do some short courses that will give me other competencies that I can then present it to the company and say, I'd like to move to the next spot. Or I'd like to do not necessarily a lateral, but I may want to do a vertical move into a completely different area for which I am now qualified and competent.
I understand. Okay. And mentorship in terms of career stagnation. What's your views on that?
You can find people who will mentor others.
Yeah, right.
There are some who don't like to mentor because they feel that they need to hold all of the power, because if they share the information, then that person may take over their job. That's not the way to look at it. I mean, it doesn't detract if you help somebody. If you can find a mentor that knows about that particular job or has a trajectory that you feel that that person was successful in moving from one place to the other, then talk to that person. It may not necessarily be in your company. It could be somebody in another company who has done very well and you know. Or you can reach out to them and say, I mean, on LinkedIn, many youngsters reach out to me and say, you know, can you help me with X, Y, and Z? And I help them.
Right.
It doesn't take anything off of you to help.
Okay. Now, having said all of that, what's the one action step viewers can take today to start making a career change? One thing.
Self-reflection.
Self-reflection.
Yeah.
You mean like
journaling, creating, doing what they call an autobiographical essay on how you started, how did you get here, and then you create. After that, the second step would be start creating your portfolio.
Okay, so an autobiographical essay
is useful.
And then a portfolio.
Yeah.
And you said these things are time consuming.
They are. If you're not prepared to invest in yourself, then maybe this is not for you. Maybe you will be happy just sitting in the job and complaining.
Okay.
Okay, knock yourself out.
We'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So we have spent some time with Dr. Carolyn Hayles, labor market research specialist. And, you know, we got some juicy nuggets. So if you're looking to strengthen the financial table and you're looking to strengthen the income part of your 4 strong legs in terms of your career, we're looking at creating self-reflection, knowing yourself, doing an autobiographical essay about where you are starting from high school. And I don't know if you remember high school, coming up to where you are today, then creating a portfolio of skills, talents, certification, competency. And yes, it's going to take time. Next, look for mentorship. Look at where you are. Are you a vet? Do you change tires? What do you do? Are you a journalist? What do you do? And figure out what cluster. There's only 16 clusters. And then in the 16 clusters, there's 79 career families, and the branches then branch off to hundreds. And of course, in this AI world, new branches are being created. There is your roadmap. You're feeling stuck, want to change your career? Dr. Hayles has given us so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Hayles.
You're welcome.
My name is Dennise Williams. This is Financially Focused. I would encourage you, jump on our website and check out our free course on 30 days to improve your financial independence. I'll see you in the next conversation. Now, in this episode of Financially Focused, we zero down on what you need to do to build your career and even make a career change if you're feeling stuck. We looked at creating a history, your autobiographical essay of from high school to now in terms of where you've worked, what you've learned, skills and such that you've developed. After doing that, we're going to encourage you to create a portfolio. Put together all of your skills, talents, competencies, certificates, everything you've done from high school to now. Is it time consuming? You better believe it. Is it worth it? You better believe it, because how else are you going to see how great of an asset you are to yourself, okay? And if you feel stuck, what a great way to get out of stuckedness. And Dr. Hayles reminded us that your volunteer work is important because a lot of us discount it because we're not being paid. And you know the thing with volunteer work, everybody, tells you how wonderful you are and how talented you are because you're working for free, right? And then when you go on the job, everything's wrong with you because you're being paid. And that can mess with your head. And so the portfolio is a great way to kind of clear the fog and see yourself for who you really are. Now, if you want even more support, be sure to visit our website, www.financiallyfocusedmedia.com, and we're offering you a free 30-day financial independence course. My name is Dennise Williams, and I will see you in the next conversation.